If you tuned in the last few days, you know it's Spider-Man week, specifically custom Spider-Man week. We're opening custom Spider-Man statue after custom Spider-Man statue, and here we have another Venom. But this one is much different than the one yesterday. I think this could be the best Venom statue ever created. Hey guys, this is the Extreme Channel. I'm Mr. X, and I have another long-anticipated, long-awaited custom Venom statue in front of me. I think this makes 12 or 13 Venom statues that I have, custom Venom statues, about 20 total, and I still have more on order because I love the way Venom looks, I love the character, and look at what a work of art you can create out of said character. So said in the intro, this is a custom, means it's a private unlicensed commission. It's been sold out for a long time, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be really hard to get a hold of one of these because it is amazing. But today we're going to do the traditional review. We're going to dive in. We're going to look at all the amazing things of it, from the concept, the paint, the sculpt, the design. It's a very, very cool piece. I've ordered a number of pieces from this particular group, and I have more on order. And for some reason, pictures never do any justice towards a lot of things in this group, and this is another great example of that. So if you're watching my Spider-Man week and you don't know who Spider-Man is, that's kind of weird, but you're kind of like Spider-Man, because how many times are you leaving the house or the office be like, man, I forgot my mask? Spider-Man probably says that all the time. But Venom is the arch enemy of not only Spider-Man, but Peter Parker. He's a combination of two characters, an alien symbiote and a reporter named Eddie Brock. And what I love about Venom is you can do so many different takes on him. That's why I have so many different statues. Some of them are creature-esque Venom. Sometimes you do a lot of blue in it. Sometimes you put him on top of a building, in a sewer, on a gargoyle. And here you actually have multiple options for that we'll talk about. But really quick before we dive in, check this out. We are giving away these two Mortal Kombat statues by PCS, one at the 15,000 sub giveaway, the other at 17,500. To enter, just comment on this video. This is one of the videos we may pick for a random comment. Also, make sure you have liked this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Alright, so as always, we're going to start with concept of this piece. Now, I gotta say, the concept is not incredibly original, because with Venom, like I said, it's kind of hard to come up with new ideas. Okay, first you decide, do I make my Venom more human-like, or do I make him more monster-like, creature-esque? He's a little bit more monster. Do I put him in a sewer? Do I put him on a building? Like the one yesterday, on a wall. You could put him on a wall. That was a totally new concept. But let's look at this one. So, on the bottom, he is sitting on top of a building here. He's on top of a building, and it's not only a small statue of a gargoyle. Traditionally, they're tiny little ones. This one is huge. It's actually probably bigger than Venom itself. It almost risks taking away from the character. It's very worn, it's very weathered, and one thing on this is you see a lot of the symbiote tendrils all over him, which I like it when Venom is connected to the base like that. And up top, Venom is lunging over it. He's hunching down, which is good because this is an incredibly tall statue. Depending what portrait you have, he's very nasty, very creature-esque, very grotesque, and he looks like he's kind of scheming almost. You know, or telling Spider-Man come here, or just very nasty. He's given into all of his primal instincts, and he just looks fabulous. This is just a scary looking statue, a badass looking Venom with some really cool display options we're going to talk about in design. So I can't give the concept a 5 out of 5 because it is not original, but I still think it's a 4 out of 5. It's a great take on Venom that's been done before, and it's really impressive just to look at. I especially like a lot of the weathering they did on the building. Some of the colors I think make it very unique, which we'll talk about during paint and sculpt. But next we're going to talk about design. Now it was a pretty easy assembly, but go ahead and take a look at that. It actually came in two separate boxes that were packed really well. One was actually double boxed. Here is one layer. It's the bottom part of the base and some other pieces. Then the gargoyle had its own layer in that same box, and then Venom had his own box just for the body. Now before we get dimensions, let's actually look at the switch outs because that will change the dimensions greatly. He has 3 different portraits. Now his first portrait actually has 4 different options. First option here is with this tongue, and I love this tongue. It's almost a translucent resin, which I kind of like. Or he has a shorter tongue right here, still very neat. And then just an itty bitty tongue. And if you really wanted to, even though you can kind of see the keyhole, you can display him tongueless. And then here is a portrait with his mouth closed. I also am a huge fan of this as well. And then they have a transformation portrait. Now the paint and sculpt is phenomenal on this, but it's probably still my least favorite. Now the other display option, I'm actually not going to do it, but this gargoyle, as you saw during the assembly, sits on this base. The gargoyle is designed to sit flat on the ground as well in case you did not want the building base, and that's where the dimensions would be different. So the building base itself is a little under 5 inches, so if height is a restriction for displaying, you can eliminate that bottom base. I'm going to keep it, make it work most likely. I'm not sure exactly where he's going to go. If you want to check that out, I do have an Extreme Channel Facebook page. I'll post pictures on there. Go ahead and check that out. The link is in the description. Make sure you not only follow it, but like it as well. So total height is just under 27 inches, just shy. The widest point is probably the wings, is just under 23 inches. And then the deepest part is about 16 inches to the snout of the gargoyle here. Now the base itself is about 14 inches, probably by about 14 inches. Yeah, a little bit under. So some very cool display options. These are definitely portraits I'm going to keep out though, and I'm going to switch them back and forth because I like them a lot. Everything fit really well. The packing on this was phenomenal. It was one of the best packing jobs I've ever seen. And no wonder nothing was broken. So props to the factory on that. So design-wise, I really like what they did. I think the only thing negative is you have to display him at least at eye level or above because he's hunched over. So if you display him low, you'd really just be looking at his head. That's really the only negative here with design. There is a small seam line with the Venom switch-out head. Here's a picture of that. But that's pretty negligible for a Venom piece. So I give the design a 4 out of 5 as well. Really impressed by it. I like a lot of the options they gave. But what's really, really impressive on this piece is the paint and sculpt. And it's not traditional. I gotta let you know that right away. Like you saw the translucent resin on the tongue. Venom is probably the most blue Venom I've ever seen, which isn't everybody's flavor. But let's go ahead and take a look. All right, let's dive in here. Starting with this base, you know, it's some really unique colors. I really like that green. You know, I don't know if it's supposed to be just faded paint or moss, but it kind of looks like both, other than there's no 3-dimensionality to the moss. But great sculpt in here. And I like the lighter colors. It's something different. Usually in a Venom statue, it's almost always dark. I'm looking at my other ones right now. Looks great, really well done. Some more of that green and black shading and cracks on the bottom. And then DB right here with the trumpet. Looks great, really intricate. Same thing, I like how the green kind of flows up through the gargoyle here. Not too many cracks in this, so there's still some good definition in the sculpt of the gargoyle. Does look extremely badass. Almost like a mix between a lion. And what I really like about this, it doesn't really steal the show, even though it is almost just as big as Venom. Now, as we look through Venom, a lot of things we're going to look at. First, the different shades. You see that really highlighted blue, and the lights in here really affect it. A lot of people aren't going to dig that. I like it. I like the suit moving throughout. You also have it more of a black suit with a few of the blue highlights throughout the gargoyle statue down here. A little bit of dirt and mud, which I like, which actually also ties into something we're going to look at in a second. But some people aren't going to dig this. It's not what I would choose. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it really does make this guy kind of pop. His anatomy is phenomenal. You see the humanoid anatomy in the midst of the creaturesque parts of him. Pretty damn cool. Now right here, they put mud all over his symbol, and anywhere there's white. I did a review a few weeks ago on another Venom statue you can check out, and I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. It looks too much like shit. This looks better than that statue did. but it still wouldn't have been my choice. And I understand they're trying to tie to the mud down here. And you can see some like on his leg right here. So it is kind of telling that same story. But great job on this anatomy. And the colors do mix really well together. Now let's look at the portraits, which are a big star of the show. The jutted out teeth, this tongue, the different reds they used. I like how the teeth are kind of in different positions. Not really a lot of blue in his eyes, which I like because there's not, I think it would be too much with everything that we see in the statue. Switch out portraits here for you. And then, as I said, the transformation portrait, not my favorite, but the paint and sculpt are done really well. I mean, look at the mouth. Looks like a real human mouth. Almost a 5 o'clock shadow on him. Even though it's my least favorite, I'm probably gonna keep it out just because it's done so well. I like the skin tone textures. As I'm looking at it now, I'm liking it more and more. The detail in that is impeccable. The paint and the sculpt. Then last, the mouth closed here. Again, also very cool, very sinister. I like that. He's up to something. He's messing with you. And it fits really well with this monster-like Venom. I like the texture all over, not only his eyes there, but his body. They just did a phenomenal job. Paint and sculpt. A few areas they could have done better, but I like it all a lot. Huge props to them. So here, the paint is done really well. One could argue that they don't like the direction of the paint, but I'm a big fan of it. I really do. I like the direction of it. I like it's a little bit different. And also with paint too, the shit stain color like I had on my custom Venom a few weeks ago, I'm not a fan of that art direction. It looks more like shit than mud to me, which is kind of a bummer, but it's still done very well. So I think I have to give the paint on this, I think it's a 4 out of 5. It would have been a 5 out of 5 if I loved the direction a little bit more, but that shiny blue metallic is just a little too much for me. But then again, I like it because it's really different. Sculpt on this piece, his feet, like I said, that is really the biggest part that bothers me, but I love the anatomy on Venom. I love his posture. I love the base here. I'm gonna give the feet a pass and give it a 5 out of 5 on the sculpt. I think it's amazing. It's really well done. So value on this piece. This retailed right under $1,200, and it was about $300 I think for shipping, so you're about $1,500 all in. They only made 45 of them. I think this is going to be highly sought after because it's different and it's done very, very well, other than the few exceptions I talked about. So I don't think the value is bad by any means, but you are $1,500 in for a quarter scale piece. I do see this going up in value. I think I can get my money back, but it's still hard for me to justify a $1,500 piece as a great value. So I give the value a 3 out of 5, and this could become a grail. A lot of pieces from this particular group do become a grail. So if it does, then I would change the score on that. Overall factor, does this have the X factor? Is it a wow statue? As I said in the intro, this may be my favorite Venom statue. I think it won the prize. I think this is my new #1 favorite Venom statue, which means it's an X statue. It's a 5 out of 5. It is done incredible. Few minor things, like I said, I would have tweaked, but I love it. I love the fact it's different, even though it has a lot of the same Venom characteristics. So it's an X statue. It's fantastic. Let me know in the comments if you think it's an X statue. If you think it's a 5 out of 5, do you really like it? Like I said, I think there's some things they chose on here that just won't be everyone's flavor. But it's pretty cool overall. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Make sure to hit that Mr. X logo to subscribe if you haven't. Tomorrow I have another custom Spider-Man piece coming that has never been on YouTube. Going to be the first place for you to see it. Also, check out some of these other custom pieces until I talk to you then. Take care.